When you give, when you receive, when you give, know that God is all there is. So who's giving what to whom? When we give, who's giving what to whom? When we receive, who's giving what to whom? When we give, know that God is all there is. So who's giving what to whom? Trusting in the law of circulation, knowing that it is as we believe. At the level of our faith, we release and make it so. At the level of our giving, we receive. Oh, when we give, who's giving what to whom? When we receive, who's giving what to whom? When we give, know that God is all there is. So who's giving what? Who's giving what? Who's giving what to whom? When you give, when you receive, when you give, know that God is all there is. So who's giving what to whom? When we give, who's giving what to whom? When we receive, who's giving what to whom? When we give, know that God is all there is. So who's giving what to whom? Trusting in the law of circulation, knowing that it is as we believe. At the level of our faith, we release and make it so. At the level of our giving, we receive. Oh, when we give, who's giving what to whom? When we receive, who's giving what to whom? When we give, know that God is all there is. So who's giving what? Who's giving what? Who's giving what to whom? When you give, when you receive, when you give, know that God is all there is. So who's giving what to whom? When we give, who's giving what to whom? When we receive, who's giving what to whom? When we give, know that God is all there is. So who's giving what to whom? Trusting in the law of circulation, knowing that it is as we believe. At the level of our faith, we release and make it so. At the level of our giving, we receive. Oh, when we give, who's giving what to whom? When we receive, who's giving what to whom? When we give, know that God is all there is. So who's giving what? Who's giving what? Who's giving what to whom? When you give, when you receive, when you give, know that God is all there is. So who's giving what to whom? When we give, who's giving what to whom? When we receive, who's giving what to whom? When we give, know that God is all there is. So who's giving what to whom? Trusting in the law of circulation, knowing that it is as we believe. At the level of our faith, we release and make it so. At the level of our giving, we receive. Oh, when we give, who's giving what to whom? When we receive, who's giving what to whom? When we give, know that God is all there is. So who's giving what? Who's giving what? Who's giving what to whom? When you give, when you receive, when you give, know that God is all there is. So who's giving what to whom? When we give, who's giving what to whom? When we receive, who's giving what to whom? When we give, know that God is all there is. So who's giving what to whom? Trusting in the law of circulation, knowing that it is as we believe. At the level of our faith, we release and make it so. At the level of our giving, we receive. Oh.
Welcome to the Columbia Center for Spiritual Living. Nestled between the Inner Harbor in Baltimore and the National Harbor just south of the nation's capital, the suburban city of Columbia offers easy access to both, where you find no shortage of activities, entertainment, and sightseeing. With a population of approximately 104,000 inhabitants, this thriving, diverse, planned community, developed by James Rouse, was established in 1967 with the goal of enhancing the lives of its residents. Columbia boasts good schools, fine restaurants, private homes, condos, and apartments, hiking trails, music venues, malls, and local shops. Founded in 1983, the Columbia Center for Spiritual Living, also known as CCSL, currently conducts services at the Hawthorne Center in Columbia and has done so since December 1984. Who are we, and who are we looking for? We are a collaborative, supportive, loving, and fun-loving community welcoming all who join us. We take pride in the programs we offer and the events we hold. One of our greatest needs now is to rebuild our community into a thriving spiritual home that realizes our full potential. We know that the perfect minister is awaiting our call. Our new minister is creative, collaborative, welcoming, enthusiastic, embodies inclusivity, fosters open and healthy dialogue, embraces and empowers shared leadership, and is committed to pastoral care. Our aspirations are growing our presence in the community at large, as well as within CSL, developing a broader equity and inclusion focus, increasing volunteerism, rebuilding thriving youth and teen programs, creating a community abundant in membership and resources. We also are committed to continuing and enhancing existing programs, such as the Women's Group, the Bookstore, SOM Magazine Group, SOM accredited classes, workshop offerings, free or low-cost foundation classes, and our annual volunteer event, Thanksgivingness.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Andrea Brackfeld, and I am a volunteer here at Columbia Center for Spiritual Living. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and welcome to the Sunday celebration. For those of you on Facebook, we would really appreciate if you would share this live stream to bring more of us together in the energy of spirit. I'll pause for you to do this now. Pause. Okay, wonderful. Our vision is to contribute to a world that works for everyone. We are a diverse community of belonging and growth, sharing the light and joy within ourselves while learning to see it in others. Our work as a community is to illuminate the spirit truth that we all belong to each other, and that calls for us to be inclusive, to celebrate and embrace our unique identities, ability, status, age, ethnicity, gender identity, national origin, physical characteristics, race, religion, and sexual orientation. So, I invite you now to set an intention for this week. Reach deep inside of your heart and your spirit and take a deep breath and allow yourself to sink into the feeling of that intention right now as you open to receive Spirit's guidance throughout our time here. So we have a saying here at Columbia Center for Spiritual Living, and that is singing or listening to music is like praying twice. So we begin each service with a song. This week we are truly blessed to have Gary Lynn Floyd. Gary is a singer, songwriter who connects straight to the heart with his soulful style. Please help me welcome Gary Lynn Floyd. Yay!
Good morning, Columbia Center for Spiritual Living. Gary Lynn Floyd here with you. It's so nice to be back with you. Happy New Year. I got a brand new song for you to start out the new year, and it's a great way to start out the day. It's called Burst of Energy. Hope you're singing along with me. It goes like this. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. Sing that with me. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. The second part goes, I rise with a burst of energy. I rise, I rise. I rise, I rise with a burst of energy. I rise, I rise. Back to the top with a burst. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. Sing that with me again. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. Sing it with me. I rise with a burst of energy. I rise, I rise. I rise, I rise with a burst of energy. I rise, I rise. One more time from the top. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. One more time. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. I rise, I rise with a burst of energy. I rise, I rise. I rise, I rise with a burst of energy. I rise, I rise. Last line. I rise, I rise. One more time. I rise, I rise.
Thank you, Gary. If I wasn't risen before, I'm rising now. That's for sure. Thank you for that amazing gift. So, if this is your first time experiencing Columbia Center for Spiritual Living, you are very lucky and in for a beautiful morning. We welcome you and thank you for joining us today. We want you to know that no matter who you are or whatever your spiritual path, you are welcome here. There are a variety of ways to connect and engage in community. We invite you to continue watching for our announcement roll at the end of service, where you'll find updates on events, classes, and more. Links on all events can be found on our newly redesigned interactive website calendar at columbiacsl.com/events. Or you can email us at info@columbiacsl.com for more information. And now, let us consciously engage in spiritual practice together. We invite you to settle in, center yourself in this moment, this beautiful moment in the eternal now, and find that sacred place within where spirit is all there is. We will have a contemplative reading by Cindy Pridgeon, followed by a guided meditation and affirmative prayer by Io McClenny. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Today's reading is from the Science of Mind magazine, September 12th, 2022, by Jeff N. Seeley. Directing our mental energy. We begin with two quotes. The first is from Maya Angelou. When I forgive other people, I let them go. I free them from my ignorance. And as soon as I do, I feel lighter, brighter, and better. And from Ernest Holmes' Science of Mind, page 139. We are living in an intelligent universe which responds to our mental states. In what way are you choosing to use your mental energy? As you ask yourself this question, please don't be like me and immediately default to some pre-recorded message in your mind, automatically saying, well, I use my energy for oneness, peace, compassion, and kindness for others and myself. Often, these seeming unconscious, canned responses are not authentic and have been rehearsed so much that, in fact, we say them with little meaning behind them. Instead, when you ask, in what ways am I choosing to use my mental energy, I'd like you to deeply ponder the remote corners of your consciousness and heart that we too often overlook. Those corners of regret, fear, ignorance, deep-rooted bias, and even hatred. Why is this important to do? If we live in an intelligent universe that responds to our mental states, then it is essential that we realize the underlying foundation, the subconsciousness that fuels the conscious thoughts we think. As we begin to dive deeper into this level of awareness, we start to recognize we can bring a light of conscious awareness toward these parts of ourselves that may be rooted in guilt, anger, envy, and shame. We can begin recognizing that the universe not only responds to the conscious thoughts we think, but also to the underlying feeling and thoughts so deeply ingrained within that we don't even know we are thinking or feeling them. Through inner exploration, we can move from being unaware that we're unaware and start realizing we are that which fuels all the feelings and thoughts within our being. Our mental states and the world are dependent upon us. Please join me in today's affirmation. I use my mental energy in a way that adds peace to myself and compassion to others. And so it is.
Good morning, everybody. Let's breathe in together 3 breaths so that when we're breathing in, we're remembering that we are one and we are connected. So let's breathe in once and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out the second. And breathe in, breathe out the third. And know that even though I said breathe, I meant allow us to be breathed. And in today's meditation, I'm bringing in some assistance. It's from a book called Saying Yes to Life, Even the Hard Parts by Ezra Beta. And it follows the Zen Buddhism way. So now that we've all breathed in and we know that no matter what our brain says, we are connected in this moment and any moment, I want you to relax, have your feet on the floor, close your eyes only if you want to, sip your tea if that works for you, and bring into your mind's eye yourself. See yourself, see your hair or your head, see your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your neck, your arms, your waist, your legs. See your toes and your fingertips and move your body. Move it in the way that feels relaxing and releasing for you. Now just look at yourself and notice the thoughts that are coming into your mind as you just hold the vision of yourself. As we relentlessly observe ourselves, the images we have of who we are and who we need to be, which at one time seems so real, begin to peel away like layers of an onion. Pleasant self-images may give way to uglier ones, each seeming equally real until that layer too peels away. As every illusory idea of who we are is stripped off, we can finally experience the quivering freedom of not needing to be anyone at all. Go a little bit deeper and listen to your thoughts. And if you've lost the picture of yourself, bring it back into your mind's eye. Looking with a mind that's awake reveals the shimmering pulse of life. Looking with a mind full of thoughts reveals only thoughts. Now, just go deeper. Notice what you're noticing. Are you focused on one part of your body over another? Are the thoughts that are popping into your mind surprising to you? Are they comforting to you? Take a breath. Now take another breath. And join me in this affirming prayer. There is only one divine, invisible source of love, and that one divine, invisible source is the creator of me and everyone and everything. And it's in this knowing that today, Sunday the 29th, this day in which we've all turned our inner thoughts to ourselves, I delight in being the voice that ears hear. I delight in knowing that each ear that hears has the ability to claim its voice and speak its voice. And as we speak our voices, we continue to be united in a choir of life and love. For all that we do is of the law. Thus, all that we do is right and perfect. That's all that we think is right and perfect. And as this thought in this moment is right and perfect, the next thought in the next moment is right and perfect. And this divine invisible energy delights in knowing that each thought, we have control over how we use it. And in the law, we put forth our intention. And in this prayer, in this treatment, I put forth the intention for all to treat self with love and to move through this day in a loving stance with and for self, knowing that that love emanates from self into the world and shifts all that is. This is the love. This is the heart. This is the joy, the peace, and this is the intention from one to all. So in this moment, in divine gratitude, release this treatment for bringing forth the understanding and the realization that there are so many layers to each of us. All we do is just peel them away and release. And so join me in acknowledging all is right and perfect with those magical words. And so it is. Amen. Aho. Peace and blessings.
Oh, Ayo and Cindy, those were absolutely beautiful words. Thank you so much for that beautiful time of spiritual practice. Releasing. In this community, our practitioners and ministers are eager to know the truth with you. Feel free to email your request for prayer or counseling to prayer@columbiacsl.com, and we will hold your truth in prayer throughout the week. And I can tell you, prayer works. And now, please help me welcome back our wonderful guest artist of the day, Gary Lynn Floyd. Welcome.
Every step is holy. Every breath is life. Every moment precious when held up to the light. Every heart connected, each the face of God. Grace has shown me every step is holy. Every step is holy. Every breath is life. Every moment precious when held up to the light. Every heart connected, each the face of God. Grace has shown me every step is holy. Holy, holy, everyone, every breath, every step is holy. Every step is holy. Every breath is life. Every moment precious when held up to the light. Every heart connected, each the face of God. Grace has shown me every step is holy. Every step is holy. Every step is holy.
Oh, yes. Every moment, every step is holy in the now. Thank you so much, Gary, for sharing your amazing talent with us and creating an atmosphere of holiness. And now, concluding this month's theme of root and reboot, it is my intense pleasure to introduce today's speaker. Reverend Jim Webb is an ordained interfaith minister with a unique combination of spiritual depth, practical experience, and an infectious laugh. He recently released on December 15th on Amazon.com 2 wonderful ebooks, one called Prosperity from A to Z, Principles Based on the Science of Mind. Sorry, I'm looking down, I'm looking at my notes. And also Create a Self-Manifesting Vision Board. And he's got a show on Sunday on New Thought Media, which is also where you can find the Columbia Center for Spiritual Living broadcasts at 8 p.m. And if you can't remember anything I just said, just go to his website, revjimwebb.com. So his talk today is entitled Practicing the Power. Please help me welcome Reverend Jim Webb.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so honored to be here once again. Such a pleasure. And what a holy service to be a part of. I want to thank everyone who had a hand in it. It is absolutely beautiful. We wrap up a month where we have worked with Ernest Holmes' manual and the 4 chapters. And just to summarize ever so briefly, to build the platform for the final chapter, there is this thing. We call this thing God. We call it the higher power. We call it the infinite intelligence. We may call it the force. We may call it the source. We may call it the universe's heartbeat. And although humans have anthropomorphized this thing, and anthropomorphize means this, just look at the Latin roots. Anthro means man, morph means changed. What humans have done is we have changed the divine energy, the divine spirit, the divine essence, the divine source, and we have projected onto it our own neuroses. So we've changed it into this oppositional, judgmental, sadistic, distant, punitive male energy. But despite that anthropomorphization, in truth, this thing is simply the creative force of love. And this thing can work for us. It's also called the law, and it works through us, and it expresses through us and through all. And the reason that it expresses through us is because we are extensions and expressions of this thing. And in order for this thing to fully expand its experience, it expresses through us. Now, to me, this was always, when I worked with Science of Mind, this was always very esoteric until one day I looked over at Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon album. And any of you who are as old as I am, you might remember the Dark Side of the Moon album, or a t-shirt that had the album cover on it. It was all black, and there was this light shining through a prism. And on one side of the prism, there was the light shining in, and on the other side of the prism, there was a rainbow. And all of a sudden, it clicked for me. Spirit shines through us like that light shines through a prism. And when God is shining through us, God is saying, look at the beautiful rainbow I have created. Look at the beautiful creation that is an extension of me. Look at all the wonderful ways I can express. Look at all the wonderful colors I can be. And all of a sudden it made sense. God is expressing through all of us. But God needs us as vessels for God's expression. And so this thing works through us. This thing, also called the universal mind, must take form. And it contains all the potentials, all the potentialities, all the probabilities, all the possibilities. But just like a seed must grow into the oak, the thing must work through us to take form. Now, the interesting news is this thing is already working through us, and this thing is perpetually working through us. However, it is working through our undisciplined mind and taking the forms that our undisciplined mind projects. It is working through our miseducation and our mistakes in consciousness. The thing in its highest, most loving form, though, is something we can express in a different way. We can make the thing work for us instead of supporting the perpetuation of a world that seems to work against us. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. Making this thing work for you. Now, I'm using, of course, the nomenclature used in the religious science manual, this thing and how it works. And so the basic premise that I want to share is that making this thing work for you, you have to allow it to work through you. And it works when you work it. The basic premise that I want to share is making this thing work for you means allowing this thing to work through you. And to make it work, you have to work it. And the way I see it, it's like a science experiment. Just like a science experiment has a theory. You remember this from 11th grade chemistry, right? There was a theory, and then you did experiments to prove the theory. Well, the thing is the truth. And you have to put the truth to the test to prove the truth. And it must flow through us to manifest. And so one of the ways that we can do that is to put it to the test by energetically opening to the thing, by getting into a meditative state, by releasing our human defenses and doubts about the thing, by allowing the thing to flow to us and through us, allowing the thing to fill us until there is no separation between us and the thing, allowing the thing to embrace us so that we feel embraced by the thing which is love, allowing the thing to crowd out any other ideas that we had about ourselves, so that the thing's truth about us is the only thing we know. Because the thing's truth is that we are holy. The thing's truth is that we are beautiful. The thing's truth is that we are loving, lovable, and love-able. The thing's truth is that we are acceptable, for the thing accepts us. And when we feel the thing embracing us in unconditional, loving acceptance, we can be the thing by unconditionally loving and accepting ourselves. So this is an experiment that we can do often. We can put God to the test often. Like Malachi 3:8 says, put me to the test and I will pour you out a blessing. So to make the thing work for you, you have to work the thing. Working the thing means being in alignment with the thing. Working the things means calling forth the thing. Working the thing means calling out the thing. being the thing, acknowledging the thing, like the Bible says, in all thy ways acknowledge him and he will direct thy paths, being guided by the thing, allowing the thing to provide. And I see it like a chemistry experiment, making the thing work for you. Remember in 11th grade chemistry, you had a test tube, right? And you poured that test tube into a beaker. And the objective was, when you poured that test tube full of something into a beaker, there was a change, there was a transformation. The water turned from white to blue. The water turned from white to pink. The water turned from white to pink frizzy bubbles. You saw a change, you saw a transformation. Well, when we work the thing, it's the same thing. That beaker full of the thing is God's love. And as we pour that beaker of the thing called God's love into us, as we pour the test tube filled with God's love into us repeatedly, there is a change. We become more loving. We become more peaceful. We become more confident. We become more assured of our good. And that thing that pours into us as we pour the test tube of God's love into the beaker of ourselves, we become that new thing. And the world becomes new because we see it differently. And we move through the world in a different way. And when we have a change, the world has a change. So the point of all of this is, that is working the thing, making the thing work for us. And you realize then you are a vessel for the thing called God's love. You are a vessel for the thing called God's light. You are a vessel for peace. You are a vessel for healing. You are a vessel for transformation. And you work the thing by pouring more of God into you in meditation. You work the thing by working with the process of transforming the thing. And what do I mean by working the process of transforming the thing? Well, just like this is called religious science, there is a science, there is a theory that we put to the test. The theory is that love changes things. The theory is that love is all there is. The theory is that love heals. The theory is that love expands. The theory is that love transforms. And all is love. So how do we put this to the test? We put this to the test through treatment. Treatment, also known as prayer, transforms things. We acknowledge the thing. We invite the thing. We invoke the thing. We recognize the thing. We unify with the thing. We realize the thing, and we give thanks for the thing and what it has transformed. That's what affirmative prayer is. And it always works. And it always works. And this is so important. It always works. And it's so important. I actually want you to repeat this. Putting the thing to work always works. Putting the thing to work always works. Putting the thing to work always works. I want you to put that in the comments. I'm reading your comments, by the way. Putting the thing to work always works. Putting the thing to work always works. And you say, oh no, there may be a part of you that says, but I prayed last night and the thing didn't happen. I prayed last week and the thing didn't happen. I prayed this morning and the thing didn't happen. But believe me, putting the thing to work always works. And this is what Ernest Holmes says in the 4th part of the Religious Science Handbook, in chapter 4, making the thing work for you. It says you have to believe it in order to see it. And what do I mean by that? You have to believe it in order to see it. This flies in the face of all of our miseducation, all of the miseducation that I talked about before. We have been miseducated into believing, I'll believe it when I see it. But in truth, we have to believe it in order to see it. Our human mind has been miseducated in the idea that we have to see it in order for it to be true, but it actually works the other way. We have to believe in our minds of its truth and hold only that belief in our consciousness without any conflicting beliefs in our unconscious mind. And as Jesus said, and Ernest Holmes quotes Jesus here, he says, Jesus was right when he said, "It is done unto us as we believe." It is not done unto us as we want. It is not done unto us as we desire. It is done unto us as we believe. So everything we see in our outer world is a reflection of our beliefs. And if we don't believe it, we cannot see it. And this law always works. And let's work with this for a moment. Even when we don't think it's working, it's still working, according to Ernest Holmes. It may be working in a way that we don't intend. It may be working in a way that we don't desire. It may be working in a way that we don't like, but it is still working because everything we see outside of ourselves is a reflection of our beliefs, and that is the law in action. So how do we make the law work for us instead of the appearance that the law might be working against us? We must constructively use the law. We must constructively use the law. So how do we do that? We do that through denial. How do we make the law work for us? How do we work the law, the way we intend it to work and the way God intends it to work? We do that through denial. Ernest Holmes says, we should be able to look a discordant fact in the face and deny its reality, since we know that its seeming reality is based in an illusion. That's a nice theory. But sometimes when we look at our checkbook at the end of the month and we've got more month than money, that discordant fact seems to overwhelm us, worry us, cause us shame, fear, and doubt. But this is a, quote, wrong condition, according to Ernest Holmes, and we can change it. Let's work with this for a second in a practical way. If we have more month than money, part of us feels undeserving of money. If we have discord in our outer lives, part of us may feel unconsciously undeserving of peace. If we are in a job that we do not enjoy, that is not making full use of the faculties unique to us that we could offer the world, we may feel undeserving of that level of fulfillment. We may feel unworthy. And that is not the truth. So what do? We pour a test tube full of God's love into us. And you know what it reacts with? This is religious science. It reacts with the part of us that is felt unworthy. It reacts with the part of us that is felt unloved. It reacts with the part of us that is felt unlovable, and it transforms it. We apply love to where we were not aware of love's presence within us, where we were not giving ourselves permission to love ourselves, where we were not believing that the universe was a wondrous place that was put here for our good, because we were not believing in a wondrous, present, active, loving, supportive God. When we pour the truth of God into that place must change. And that is what we do to put God to the test. And as Ayo said earlier, each time we practice this, each time we pour the light of God into us, each time we put God to the test in this way, there is a change, layer by layer, by layer, by layer, by layer, because our consciousness is like an onion. And so what do we mean when we say deny it? We're not like Don Quixote tilting at windmills. We're not denying the actual visceral experience of our past creations. But Catherine Ponder says, the past has no power over me. We are not denying that. We are disempowering it. Instead of getting worried, instead of getting upset, instead of getting angry, instead of getting mad, instead of getting hopeless, we get some God. We get some hope. We get some grace. We get some peace. We get some healing. And that healing transforms whatever we have been feeling. What we have been feeling is coming up for the healing, and the healing transforms what we have been feeling. And no, you're not crazy. You're not when you're denying it or denying the power you have given it, this appearance over you. You're not crazy. You're not delusional. You're not like Don Quixote rooting at windmills. You are in a truth that few have experienced. But what you have done that is different is that you have given yourself repeated, regular, powerful, visceral, undeniable experiences of that truth, so that truth becomes your truth. You must live that truth, and so must I. You must be that truth, and so must I. You must not only spout that truth, but you must embody that truth and allow that truth to embody you. Allow that truth to take over you, just like that spirit of fear might have taken over you when you realized you had more month than you had money. And when you own that truth, when you embody that truth, when you allow that truth to fill you to the exclusion of anything else, to the exclusion of any unconscious ideas other than that truth, that is how you use the thing. And when you use the thing for you, the thing will work for you. When you use the thing for you, the thing will open doors for you. When you use the thing for you, the thing will open your life for you. When you use the thing for you, the thing will fill you with that new $1 million idea. When you use the thing for you, the thing will give you comfort in the middle of the night. When you use the thing for you, the thing will support you in healing your body. When you use the thing for you, the thing will give you the guidance to make the right decision instead of the wrong decision. And when you use the thing for you, you become the vessel for the thing, not only for you, but you are the vessel of the thing for the world, for you become a beacon of light in the world. You become a lighthouse drawing all hearts who are wondering about the thing, who want the thing, who miss the thing, to receive the thing. You channel the thing, and the thing then touches others. And that is how we change ourselves, and that is how we change the world. Be not swayed by the world and its illusions. Be instead swayed by the thing that is an infinite supply, that pours through you in infinite supply, that heals you in infinite abundance, that creates and supports you with infinite abundance. This is the thing, and God needs you to be that thing. God needs you to put that thing to work for you, for when you put that thing to work for you, it works for you and it works for the world. And this is how you are the light that shines light on the darkness of the world. And this is how we make the thing work for us. And this is what I want to share with you today. So I want to thank you for your time, your energy, your attention. God bless you. Thank you.
Oh, Reverend Jim, that was beautiful. Accepted and received, keeping me clear and clean to allow the thing called love to expand unto eternity and beyond. Thank you. Thank you for that inspiring message. Deep breath. And please join us next week for another virtual-only service with our very own Rebecca Bell, I just saw the little notes. Guest speaker and guest artist Leah Morris. And now it is my pleasure to introduce once again Gary Lynn Floyd for more music for the soul.
These times are troubling me, so much I can hardly see through the walls that keep us apart. You got your views and I've got mine. We've come together for a moment in time. I hope you hear me with your heart. I'm not trying to push you away, but I got something that I gotta say. I stand for love, I stand for peace, I stand for equality and the good of all. I stand for hope, I stand for faith, I stand for freedom and the good of all. I stand, I stand, I stand. Would you stand with me? I stand, I stand, I stand. Could you stand with me? What we don't understand, we turn away instead of realizing there could be a better way. Can we just agree to disagree? We can never see things eye to eye, but we can hold on to the love between you and I. It's the only way we survive. I'm not trying to push you away, but I got something that I've gotta say. I stand for love, I stand for peace, I stand for humanity and the good of all. I stand for hope, I stand for faith, I stand for freedom and the good of all. I stand, I stand, I stand. Would you stand with me? I stand, I stand, I stand. Could you stand with me? I stand for faith, I stand for justice, I stand for equality and the good of all. I stand for light, I stand for justice, I stand for compassion and the good of all. I stand, I stand, I stand. Would you stand with me? I stand, I stand, I stand. Could you stand with me? Could you stand with me? Could you stand with me? Could you stand with me?
Beautiful, Gary. We stand together in love. Thank you for that fabulous song. We appreciate your gifts and talents. Be sure to check out Gary's website, GaryLynnFloyd.com, Lynn, and follow him on Facebook and Instagram at Gary Lynn Floyd to hear more beautiful and soulful music. So we have just received, and now we consciously give back. I invite you to invoke feelings of love, gratitude, and abundance, allowing them to fill you and the space around you. Let's use the power of our word by speaking our prosperity affirmation together. I know that the infinite abundance of the universe is blessing and expanding my offering for the good of all, and so it is. We offer easy ways to donate your offering. You can make a one-time or recurring donation through our website, www.columbiacsl.com, or text your donation 410-498-6175. And thank you for sharing your good. And we know that as we give, we receive. And we do so in gratitude. That's the law of circulation. Please join me as we bless every gift bestowed upon Columbia CSL. Together we receive these gifts. I can't hear you. Knowing that they nurture and support our vision of contributing to a world that works for everyone. And so it is. We appreciate every contribution. Your support ensures that we remain a vital and thriving center for everyone's spiritual nourishment. So, on behalf of our entire community, thank you for being part of our spiritual family today, and perhaps in the future when you listen to the recording. And we look forward to seeing you again. We hope you will join us today for our annual meeting. We will be virtual only, starting at 11:30 this morning on Zoom. We can't stress enough how important it is for everyone to be at this meeting. Every voice counts. Members will vote on our slate of Board of Trustees, and we will vote whether to accept Reverend Rafe Ellis as our senior minister. The Zoom link was sent in an email earlier this week. If you don't have it, you can sign up from the link on our website, columbiacsl.com, right now. And you'll receive the Zoom link in a confirmation email immediately. It's now my utmost pleasure to introduce, once again, Reverend Jim, to close our service with an affirmation for this week, the last week of January.
The last week of January is the first week of our full manifestation of God's vision for us this year. We have looked at this thing, knowing this thing is the loving force. We have looked at what it is and what it does, and we now put it to work for us. So we affirm in prayer that the loving essence of God's great and glorious intention for us all and for the earth would be made manifest. And that is what we pray as a benediction. Mother, Father, God, Great Spirit, our Creator, we acknowledge you as the one force, the one source, the one power for good. We acknowledge your intention as good and loving, and we acknowledge ourselves in unification with you as vessels for your light. We know that your intention to manifest for your beloveds all the good, all the grace, all the ease they desire would be made manifest when the yes you send us is received by our own yes. So we give you permission, God, to clear out, to transform any unconscious no, so that this community, this country, and this world can vibrate simply and only in the truth of your love, in the truth of your expansiveness, in the truth of your harmony, wisdom, grace, and glory, and magnify this glory for all to see, for all to know, and for all to be. So we thank you in advance. We dance in advance as these words activate the source and the force into manifestation. And for this, we are thankful. And we release these words that they may do just that now and forevermore. Amen. Thank you.
I am